now.
Oh, wait.
Bienvenue. You know why I invited you all here today. It is an honor, for you guys at least, to gather for this wonderful meal prepared by moi. I would like us to meet and have a polite discussion over a steamy, hot meal. And I will let you guys learn a bit about me since I am your forefather and I paved the way for all your fame and riches. So you should be thankful, my fellow Frenchmen. Now I will teach you guys my stories that made it possible for all your success. You know, you should be grateful. And also I want to hear a bit about your expeditions and adventures and give you guys the chance to get to know me and you guys better.
What did you even do?
Excusez-moi, I would think that you would be more educated about me, considering that I am what made all your measly expeditions possible. What an uncultured swine. How did you even succeed as an explorer without knowing about me? And I even went out of my way to invite you to my dinner. Did you not read about me in your history books? Well, looks like I will have to tell you a bit about me. So, first, where do we start? Let's see if it was worth me for inviting you guys. What is something you guys know about me? For the record, my name is Jacques Cartier. If you don't know,
Wow.
does that ring a bell?
No.
Actually.
Yeah. It must have left my brain.
Oh, I see. I suppose you'll have to
Don't-
tell us. Oh!
I feel so disrespected, but since I will be a gentleman and tell you guys a bit, well, since no one knows anything about my achievements, wouldn't it not be a wonderful time to enlighten you stupid brats?
Monsieur.
There's so many. Where do I start? Well, first, let me tell you a bit about my childhood. So, I was born in the town of Saint Malo to a modest family. My father was a mariner, so he gave me some experience with the sea. Those old days. I cannot believe that now I am a renowned famous explorer who founded Canada. Such a success story. As a teen, I developed an interest in the ocean. I had such a thirst for exploring. Not even the water in the ocean could satisfy it.
Maybe that's because it's salt water.
Anyways, I was lucky to have the chance in my 30s to explore the Northeast. No eating during my introduction. That is such disrespect.
But sir, this is a dinner, sir. Oh, sorry.
Anyways, so as I was saying, I was lucky to have the chance in my 30s to explore the northeast Atlantic coast of North America with my dear mentor, Giovanni de Verrazzano. He was commissioned by the King of France, Francis I, and he brought me along. I remember this so vividly. We explored the new places for ourselves, such as Cape Fear and the Pamela Sound. And that was just the beginning, since later we found other bays, islands, and even got into contact with some of those Indians they were all talking about. That experience was so inspiring and exciting. I think that was really what ignited my passion for exploring the world. Well, also the wealth and glory, but obviously who explores without the desire to become filthy rich and carry down in the history of mankind? Well, now you know some background information about me, so let me speak about my accomplishments, as you guys wouldn't have made it without me, obviously. Anyways, I'm not gonna brag or anything, but my discoveries pretty much made all of your expeditions possible.
You are bragging.
Well, it's fine, because, God gave me the right to brag, since, I discovered land for him, and I kind of expanded this country, anyways, no need to thank me or anything like that, just saying. There's so many things I've done and I don't know where to start. Oh, let's start with my first voyage. After my voyage with my dear mentor, Verrazzano. So I set out on April 1534, I think, commissioned by King Francis I of France to explore my northern lands and search for the Northwest Passage to Asia, along with riches such as gold and spices. In retrospect, that voyage wasn't really how I envisioned it to be, but maybe it was even better. I didn't explore or discover Asia or anything like that. But guess what? I sailed far up the St. Lawrence River, and I was probably even the first person to set sail and discover that river. Well, I guess like except for the Indians, but my discovery was more impactful than them, of course. And this river has become a crucial part of so many cities now, like all because of me. Also on this voyage, I even discovered Prince Edward Island on this journey, and I claimed that land for my dear friend.
This is so sorry to interrupt. Waiter, can I have a water refill, please?
Of
Thank
course,
you.
madam.
Thank you very much. But continue.
You done?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm done. I was really thirsty.
Okay, then, like, as I was talking about, what a legacy I have left. So then, once I returned, I left my story. I told my stories to King Francis, what I've seen, what I've experienced, and he was so convinced he funded my second voyage. This time, the expedition was to a larger scale. There were over 100 men, 3 ships, and the objective this time was similar, was to explore, and except this time, I was tasked with starting a French colony.
Magnifique. Oh.
Oui, c'est trop magnifique. And like, ooh la la. Fortunately, winter came and, well, my men started dying from this disease that gave them bleeding guns on their mouths, disgusting red-black spots on their skin.
I pray for all their families.
I think it was called scurry. Should have paid for the meat.
Sorry.
But like the Indians taught us medicine to cure the scurvy. But by that time, 25 men already died.
No. My heart goes out for them. Them and their poor families.
Heartbreaking.
Not me though.
Oh.
I think that says
That's
something
nice.
about my alpha, strong, determined demeanor. That's
What is this, alpha?
I believe it means he's a leader.
Yeah.
Oh,
Leader.
merci beaucoup.
You realize I'm the leader that gathered you guys all here today?
Yes, we are very sorry, Jacques. Please go on.
Désolé.
Okay, and
Are you okay, Jacques? Are you okay?
Oh, he's getting emotional for his men.
Oh, I never knew he was one to have such a kind heart.
Oh,
Jacques. It's okay, Jacques. It's okay. We're here
those
for you
men,
now.
I really love them, but
Oh, Jacques. Please don't make me cry.
but enough of that.
Samuel.
So devastating.
Samuel.
Please continue.
Oh, sorry.
Well, that spring, I took some Indians, Iroquois, that tribe was called, to France as proof that people lived there. And I showed their king to convince them. And this was like so compelling enough that it led me to establish my, last but not least, my third voyage. Sponsored by Francois, the goal was to colonize, establish a permanent settlement, and search for the fabled land of gold. And guess what? I've even discovered that gold.
I've heard about that. The gold and diamonds turned out to be fool's gold. Iron, pyrite, and quartz. Imagine being so gullible. You didn't even discover anything useful. So can you please stop with your patronizing attitude?
What's a laugh?
This guy really thinks he did something.
Okay, well, at least I invited you guys, so I think you should maintain some respect.
Whatever, Jacques. Carry on.
Like, just shut up. Like, what did you discover? Did you discover all of Canada, basically, like me? Oh yeah, by the way, I named it Canada. That was my name.
Good for you.
Well, personally, I'm not a fan of the name.
Well, why not?
I would have named it France too.
What? But, like, my name
Isn't that word of Indian origin, like the Iroquois? I heard it meant village in their language, and you just misused it and coined it as the name of the land or something. It's kind of dumb, If you're gonna use a word, use it correctly, Jacques.
well, that's irrelevant since I gave it a new definition. Now it refers to the country you guys are all trying to explore, so I gave it the secondary definition of this country. And Like, I literally gave you a term to talk about the very land you're exploring. Such ungrateful punks. Anyways, I digress. The third voyage didn't go so well, you know, with the cold winters again, with conflicts with the Indians, and I kind of abandoned my mission, but it's fine. It's the hard work that counts, right? Also, the fact that my legacy is such profound. So now that you know a little bit about me, I hope you guys enjoy this dinner. And do you have any questions?
Would you like a cracker?
And biscuit.
I would delight in doing so. Thank you.
Passe-moi next, please.
Oui, oui.
Wait,
Oui. Un biscuit, s'il vous plaît.
Ah, si.
That's enough about you, Jacques. As you all probably know, I am a French merchant, explorer, and colonizer. And I was a Calvinist. I was born in the Château de Mont and Royan, Saint-Con, or southwestern France, and founded the first permanent French settlement in what these kids now call Canada.
well, you do realize that, like, I actually kind of started the founding of the nation.
Carry on, Pierre.
I was the Lieutenant General of New France from 1603 to 1610. I've achieved so much, I know.
Not as much.
I traveled to northeastern North America for the first time in 1599 with my good friend Pierre de Chavon de Tonnier in 1604. I organized an expedition underwritten by merchants and ruined Saint Malo and La Rochelle and left France with 79 settlers. Oh, wow.
Very nice, Pierre.
Thank you. Merci, merci, merci. I was granted a fur trading monopoly in New France, or again, what these kids call Canada, in 1603 by His Majesty King Henry IV of France. I organized several expeditions to explore the region and established a permanent settlement. In 1604, I led an expedition to Acadia, or Nova Scotia, with my good friend Samuel de Champlain.
Ah, Samuel, you were there too.
Yes,
I was.
For some reason, Samuel became more famous than me. Still mad about that, Sam.
What can I say?
Samuel, you really deserve all of this.
Oh, thank you.
But anyway,
Anything for my best chum.
we established a small settlement on a little place called St. Croix Island. But it was plagued by disease and really harsh living conditions, so we moved to Port Royal on the mainland on the following year. A bunch of settlers succumbed to the harsh winter climate and scurvy as they exhausted the limited natural resources on the island. So many of my good friends died because of these diseases. But then the colony moved to a better land on the south shore of Bay Francais at Port Royal in 1605. Following the terrible disaster at St. Croix settlement in the winter of 1604 to 1605, together the people of France began to look for a more hospitable location for a colony. In 1608, me and my great friend Champlain established a new settlement at Quebec City, which later became the capital of New France. We also explored the St. Lawrence River and established trading posts along its banks. My expeditions helped to establish French control all over the region.
Wow.
Thank you.
Nice one, Pierre. Nice one, Pierre.
Merci.
Beat him up.
To be honest, I discovered this.
Once again, knowing us.
I think more credit should be given to me.
Jacques, stop trying to make this about yourself.
So
this is about
selfish.
Pierre.
So selfish.
It's my dinner party.
I think
Just because it's your dinner party doesn't mean it's your achievements.
It is.
Nobody.
Guess who
I'm sorry he's
allowed
being
me-
so rude. Go on, Pierre.
Anyways, where was I? My expeditions helped to establish French control all over the region and paved the way for further French exploration and settlement in North America. and so important. It was from these signs and the trading routes that occurred between us French people and the natives that we explored, that we explorers felt as though we were on the correct path. For if the natives were living on the island, this island offered far more hope than St. Croix Island ever did. In 1606, my not-so-wonderful friend Hendrik Lonck, the Dutch West India Company sea captain, boarded 2 of my amazing boats and pillaged them for furs and munitions.
I've heard of him. He's awful.
Awful. The Port Royal settlement survived, thank goodness, and prospered until 1607. But when the other merchants protested the monopoly, the king had to revoke it.
Oh no.
Consequently, me and my settlers had to abandon the colony and return to France. I'm sorry, talk about this makes me upset.
It's okay, Pierre. Do not worry.
I then turned my attention to the colony of Nouvelle France in St. Lawrence River Valley, and after ceding Port Royal to Poutrincourt, I never came back to the New World, but I sent wonderful Champlain to open a colony in Quebec in the year of 1608, thus playing a significant role in the foundation of the first permanent French colony in North America. Oui, oui. Mon ami Henry IV appointed me as governor of the Protestant city of Pons, Charente-Maritime, from 1610 to 1617. But when I sadly retired, I then oversaw the construction of monumental grand staircase along the rampart near the Keep of Pont. As I just mentioned before, my fur trading monopoly was revoked in 1607. So sad. I was forced to return to France. Despite this setback, my expeditions were instrumental in laying the foundations for French colonization in North America. And my legacy?
Holy moly.
I think you forgot about me. Remember when, I discovered this land and I named it Canada?
I don't think you did that. But anyways, my legacy lives on in the French places names that still exist in the region today. Thank you. No, that's how you tell a story about your explorations.
I don't think so.
It's just, you guys really think you can top my achievements. Let me tell you, I know it's not your fault. You may not know. But my legacy started when I was just a wee boy, a young lad even. My mom, she gave birth to me in 1598 in Cherbourg in Contagne, France, my home and native land. Vive la France! Vive la France! As much as I love my home country, France, I always knew I had to travel to the northern lands to help colonize. I sailed to Canada in 1618, and around that time I turned 20. Wow, I was such a youngster back then. My dearest, most glorious and kind best mate, who also happens to be the founder of our beautiful New France, or Quebec, some may say, was the one who brought me here. You actually may have heard of him. Well, I would hope so. He just so happens to be sitting here right beside me. Isn't that just sumptuous?
Oh, yes,
That is right. You heard me. The one who brought me to our new magnificent jaw-dropping land was none other than Mr. Samuel de Champlain himself. My bud Champlain brought me to North America and gave me a position as diplomat and interpreter to the natives of the new land. For as long as I can remember, I had planned to live among the Native Americans, learn their language, negotiate, and trade furs. And it is all thanks to my glorious leader, Mr. Champlain, that I was able to fulfill this dream of mine. Isn't that right, Chum?
Of course, Chum.
Anyways, After I arrived in Quebec, Samuel and I traveled up to the St. Lawrence River, followed
Which
by...
I discovered.
This is not about you, Jacques.
No one cares.
Let me tell my story. So, after I arrived in Quebec, Samuel and I traveled up to the St. Lawrence River, followed by the Ottawa River to an island in said river, which was called Allumette Island. I ended up becoming so fascinated with the Huron and Algonquin tribes that I decided I wanted to learn more about them, which led to my staying there for 2 mighty years.
2 mighty
That's
years.
right. While living with the 2 illustrious tribes, I learned much about their languages and customs. I started to have ample respect for them, and even endured some of their many hardships. Guys, I sometimes went 7 to 8 days without eating. But if you think that sounds bad, I once spent 7 full weeks with no food other than a little tree bark.
No.
I know.
Nicolette.
My friends, I advise that you never follow my lead, even if I am the one who you look up to most. Those weeks of having nothing in my stomach besides tree bark were darker than a spider's spine.
No.
However, that experience also strengthened my bond with the tribe that so graciously hosted me. One may say I acted as a peacemaker of sorts. I once accompanied 400 Algonquins on a mission to make peace with the Iroquois, which came to a happy end.
Huzzah.
What can't I do, eh? What can't I do? Thank you very much. After I assured that the peace was restored between the 2 lovely tribes, I sadly had to say goodbye to the 2 tribes that had been so kind to me. I will never forget their courteous acts. After returning to Quebec for a short while, I soon after went to live with the nation of the Nipissarians on Lake Huron and Georgian Bay for 9 whole years. I know.
9 years.
During my stay, I ran a store and traded with the native peoples in the area. I also started a relationship with a woman of this nation, with whom I created an offspring. I named our daughter Euphorosine Madeleine Nicolette. Isn't that just lovely?
Oh, so
we lived
beautiful.
quite happily during my stay. When I returned to Quebec nearly 9 years later, I brought my lovely daughter Euphorosine with me to educate her among the French. No daughter of mine will be uneducated on the glorious French culture. Isn't that right, lads? Okay. No. I simply could not let my daughter turn a blind eye to our country. However, shortly after my return to Quebec, tragedy struck. When the Kirk brothers bested us, the darn Brits took our glorious Quebec from us in 1629. I was forced to flee to the Huron country, where safety was offered. I worked with them for quite some time until our magnificent land was rightfully returned to France. During my stay, I even convinced them not to trade with the British.
Huzzah!
That will teach those nasty Brits. After power was restored, I married a lovely and elegant young lady by the name of Marguerite Couillard. Or, shall I say, Marguerite Nicolette, if you know what I mean. She was the daughter of Guillaume Couillard and was the goddaughter of my dearest friend Samuel over here. She was quite the prestigious figure.
Oh, she was.
But we have not even gotten to my greatest achievement yet. I'm sure you all know that around 1634 or so, I became the first European to explore Lake Michigan and what people might call Wisconsin these days.
But were you the first European to explore?
Once again, no, Jacques.
Nobody cares, Jacques.
Just
Anyways.
because you invited all of us.
I was sent to the Winnebago tribe in order to negotiate with them and to find a water route to Asia through southern Canada. 7 hunks escorted me as we traveled up the Ottawa River to Lake Nipissing, down the French River to Lake Huron, and then across the lake to the Straits of Michilimackinac, into Lake Michigan and Green Bay. My route even became a major fur trading route for us French.
Wow!
I honestly am just the perfect person, am I not? No wonder I have all the women swooning over me. Alas, my only regret is not learning how to swim, if you get what I'm putting off. Thank you. Cheers to that, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm too far. Oh, here. Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
But of course, you truly live up to your title as my
Thank you,
mentee.
Champagne.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, your youth reminds me of my good old days. My adventures, too, began way back when I was but a lad.
Oh.
My knack for navigation and love of the high seas stem from my humble origins. I was born into a family of sailors, you see, which was what first sprung me into the deep blue.
I see what you did there.
I was taught to navigate, chart, and even write. Quite practical, if I do say so myself. At such a ripe young age. So much so by that 1603 was it? My first expedition was already upon me.
Oh, yes.
A puny observer though I was, it was the first of many a voyage across the Atlantic.
Has a cat got your tongue?
I'm just, the memories, they're all flowing back at once.
Take your time, Samuel. You can wait.
Thank you. The St. Lawrence Valley though, come to think of it, I was also serving as a geographer, explorer, and cartographer. In any case, I later published a book about that very journey, Des Sauvages ou Voyage de Samuel de Champlain de Pouage. This was after hearing from me about such great potential, what catapulted France into the motion of both trade and settlement in New France. The first permanent successful one, Quebec.
Yeah.
Ah, what a journey it was. I set off with my dear ship. Donde du, my sweet. Our journey down the St. Lawrence was a smooth one, save for the singular attempted murder of yours truly. But the land was rich, and the trade was flowing, so truly, the world spins in my favor, does it not?
That is correct, Samuel.
But that was only... Oh, thank you. But that was
Samuel, you
only...
are the most beloved.
Oh, merci.
I love you even more than
No!
My mentee?
No!
Nicolet?
You cannot separate us.
Merci. But that was only due to the grueling politics that went into establishing many a trade relation with the first peoples of New France. Even so, my colony, Quebec, was born to thrive, and by God did it ever.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. That very same year, I mapped both the St. Lawrence River and the Great Lakes region, both of which were a necessity, being major trade routes for fur traders and all. And that following year, I led one of my very own expeditions to map uncharted territory, which I've so delightfully named Lake Champlain.
Oh, yes, that
Get
sounds
it?
about right.
Get it?
I get it, Nat.
Because I'm Champlain.
Yes.
Anyhow, it was on that expedition that I ran into some warriors, and that I absolutely clapped them.
Yes, you did.
'Twas an indisputable victory on our part, though I'll admit, even a undefeatable man such as I am grateful for my allies. The Algonquin and Huron were such sports in trading. And the Montagnes, too, assisted me in the Saguenay River trading route. But I couldn't forget the Innu tribe either, or the Nipissing. Those guys were of such geographical aid in my expeditions. Such chums they were.
Undefeatable? Weren't you held captive as a war prisoner in England?
Don't talk badly about my dearest Champlain.
Champlain, I think you should stop making this all about yourself. Realize that also,
atrocity.
I noticed you simply named that Le Champlain.
Yes.
Remember when you were talking about how my name for Cannon was bad? Yours is horrible.
Excuse you.
You have some nerves, Jacques.
It was
Anyone
thanks.
asking you.
Pardon me. It was thanks to a lifetime of my hard work that France could expand into North America. It was I who encouraged settlement in New France. It was I who mapped the fur trade routes, made relations with the first peoples. It was I who uplifted the fur trade into a true success. I, Samuel de Champlain.
Yes, Samuel. Oh, you truly are one of the best explorers of all time.
Oh, Nicolet.
anything champagne.
You two remind me of me and my adventures with my old pal Louis back in the good old days, I mean. I remember how me and Louis always thought it was us against the world.
Oh,
We were and still are like brothers.
oui. J'aime.
Oh, how heartwarming.
I remember one of our adventures, we had to lead an expedition in 2 canoes to find two canoes to find the direction and the mouth of the Mississippi River, which those native folks called Mississippi, which I believe meant the Great Water or something. Me and Louis had an objective to locate the river, but I suppose we had different goals. Louis was a map maker and a geographer, nerd. But mine was to share the Christian teachings to anyone I met along my journey.
Oh, yes.
I know, I'm amazing.
What's it?
Did you know I was actually 17 when I joined the Society of Jesus?
Oh, amazing.
How young?
Mama was probably so proud. I hope.
Probably. Oh.
Anyways, me and Louis and other men traveled to the Green Bay, climbed the Fox River to the Portage, and passed to Wisconsin River, and then joined the Mississippi close to the Prairie du Chien. We later discovered that the Arakan River flowed through hostile Spanish lands after following the river to its mouth, which was 435 miles from the Gulf of Mexico.
Holy moly.
Mexico?
In the middle of July, we made the decision to head back home, though through the Illinois River, because we were worried about running into the Spanish colonists and explorers. We weren't scaredy cats, we were just cautious. Yes, very cautious. Did I mention that I was out on our missionaries in the western Great Lakes region in 1668 to establish the missions higher up the St. Lawrence River? I also participated in the foundings of the mission in 1668 at Sault Ste. Marie, the first European settlement in which is now Michigan. In 1671 at St. Anne's, also in Michigan. Aren't I just amazing?
Yes, Louis.
Oh, merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup.
Oh, how sweet.
When I went to visit Quebec, I mastered the Huron language and learned to speak fluently in 6 different Native American dialects.
You and me are both very good language.
Very educated people, very educated, unlike
Only
a
the
few
smartest-
people, unlike
only
a few people, the
are good
smartest.
at good language.
Oh, I miss those good old days.
Well, I appreciate all that you've said about our travels, Marquette. Those were truly beau days back then. Although I did go on quite the treacherous adventure in Quebec. I was analyzing that Aboriginal setting there, seeing if there was any way to make peace and perhaps form an alliance with them. During that, despite Charles Bailey's offer for me to work with him, I refused because there was no way.
Would you like some water?
A little bit of water would be good. Because there was no way I would let the English be such great masters of trade in all of Canada. It would have been awful.
Oh, yes.
I made sure and told the French to dispose of the English
Exactly.
in that area.
Well
and
done.
If not possible, to prevent them from establishing themselves any further than they already
Très
did.
bien.
Oui. Merci beaucoup. I didn't want to cause a ruckus, but I started to focus more on what I love doing, and I don't know whatever happened to those English there in Quebec. Along my voyage, going up as far north as I could, not only did I fish and trade with the Native Americans, but I also made the most magnifique 16 geographical sketches, my most proud work.
Magnifique.
Oui, of the northern Labrador coast, and the most of what I could make of the Inuit to that point. I was so proud of those sketches, and soon they will make the most historical and belle masterpieces for years to come.
Wonderful. Excellent. Excellent.
Very, very proud. How great it feels to be the creator of something so unique. Little did I know later on
Who knew I would replace Jean-Baptiste Louis Franklin's position as hydrography instructor at the Jesuit College of Quebec?
Congratulations!
Merci beaucoup.
Congratulations to you.
Merci beaucoup. That was a very big accomplishment for me. 3 years later, I was chosen to be the King of France's hydrographer. How I moved up.
Louis!
I still can't believe what a great and amazing person I am. I'm so wonderful.
You are wonderful, my friend.
Calm down, Jacques.
Are you guys done with your recounts of your measly adventures?
Says you, Jacques.
Can you please be grateful? Like stop talking about your St. Lawrence adventures. I discovered that. Please credit me.
You are selfish!
Oh, goodness me. Goodness me.
Oh my goodness!
Let's calm down. I will get everyone some tea, and we can negotiate.
Oh my
I
goodness!
did not expect it to go this way.
This has gone too far.
Jacques, he really can't control that temper of his, can he?
He truly can't.
Wait a minute. I will add a little bit of sugar to the tea.
Oh, merci
thank
beaucoup.
you.
What's taking him so long?
Jeez.
Jeez, can't even get tea.
Would
Can you
you
not make a
like
cup of
some
tea?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
De rien.
This is absolutely magnificent.
Tastes a little funny. It tastes a little funny.
Cartier, I'm feeling a little.
I don't feel so good. I don't feel so good. I still think I'm gonna hurt.
I think out of all the explorers, it has to just be me. I'm not letting you. You thought you'd be greater than me. I'll do that. You're not gonna be in any of the history like me.